Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting.
Consistently attract soulmate clients. Begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalyn Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business. Enjoy this light language activation as we begin to magnetize and monetize.
Welcome, my loves, to another incredible episode. This is especially for you if you are a spiritual entrepreneur. And if you're listening, you likely are. You're a healer, a coach, or light worker who wants to activate your intuition, deepen your spiritual connection, and bring this into your healing work and business. You know you have gifts to share. However, you might not quite be sure how to activate or develop them. And you are desiring to bring spirituality more into your business. As well, you desire to transition your healing work online. And you want to utilize your psychic and mediumship abilities to serve others. So if you're like, yes, this episode is totally for you to learn how to activate your psychic powers and monetize on your gifts. I have a very special guest here today with me, Laura Chappell, and we actually met on, surprise, surprise, social media.
Yes.
And Laura is my sister from down under in Australia. And when we connected, I was like, wow, we are so much alike. So as I read her bio, you're going to see our backgrounds are very similar. I'm really excited for her to share her stories, share her wisdom on today's episode with you all. And may I say that Laura is extra dedicated because as we're recording this, it is 4 a.m. her time. Your hour anyway, we say. And she has a new baby. So I think sleep is kind of like secondary at this point. Hey, love?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here, let me read your bio. So those of you who are tuning in right now and Laura Chappell is new to you, I want you to know about her. So she is a psychologist, a psychic medium, and a spiritual business coach who helps women to activate psychic and mediumship abilities. I can't wait to jump on this. And attracts a life and business filled with love, wealth, and happiness. So welcome, love. I am so grateful for you in making time to be here with us today.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited. To just be on here, and yes, it's early, but yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm really excited.
So beautiful. I'd love to have you share your story of how you got to be who you are today and be doing what you are doing.
Yeah, I'd love to share. So for me, I mean, gosh, I grew up in a family. My dad is very gifted. I think I might have mentioned this to you, Rosalyn. He actually had lots of spiritual gifts that lay dormant and hidden, I guess, when I was a child. But it used to come up. We used to talk about it a lot as a kid, like spiritual experiences, what happens when you die, where do we come from? I used to ask all these questions as a child, and I was very intuitive and open. But my dad was kind of fearful of his gifts, so he closed them down. When I was about 16, I had a spiritual awakening, and I was just so fascinated by questioning everything about ourselves. I knew that this wasn't everything. I just knew that this wasn't the be all and end all, and there was so much more to life. And I went on a just journey to discover that. And that's when I started to discover my own gifts. I always connected with spirit as a child, but I was very fearful. But I met some amazing mentors at the age of 16 and activated my psychic and mediumship abilities. And I brought my dad along the journey with me, and I said to him, "You've got to explore this. It's amazing. You've got these gifts." And all these gifts started to come up for him: psychic, mediumship, energy healing, light language. So like you, my dad started doing light language and is an incredible
Amazing.
healer and channeler.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what really stood out about your story was I have actually never really heard of somebody's dad being intuitive. Usually when I'm listening to stories, it's usually the mother. So this really fascinated me. And I was like, what? Your dad was super open at first and then he shut it down. And then for you to discover it at a young age, I'm actually really curious. Can we dig in there a little bit about your probably your first of many spiritual awakenings at 16? What happened there?
Well, I guess I went through what you'd call the dark night of the soul, and I had, really tough years and depression. I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. Like I had a lot of friends, but I always felt a little bit different, and I really struggled with my mental health. But I was a high performer, high achiever, and that was part of the problem. Is that I worked and studied a lot. I performed really well academically. I did a lot of sport. Like I did well at everything, but I was deeply quite unhappy, and I went on a journey to discover why. Like, why was I so happy and unhappy? And I really didn't want to be here anymore. That's what it got to. But it was from that point, hitting my rock bottom, that I thought, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to make the best of my life. I'm going to work through this and live an amazing life. I'm not going to live a mediocre life, and it really motivated me to do a lot of healing. And that's when I went into psychology as well. So, to be a psychic medium, I didn't think that that was a good enough career or that you could make money doing it, and didn't think my parents would approve. My mum's very academic. She's in the medical world. And so I thought, doing something like psychology, going to university would probably be more acceptable. And that's, the path that I went down.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I want to just rewind a little bit and say thank you so much for sharing that piece around your journey in really that struggle, that dark night of the soul. Like mental health is, of course, you and I know, both being psychologists, that it is absolutely the most important thing. And there are so many people even today who are very much, I mean, both of you and I were there, high achievers, high performers, but I really believe inside are not happy. That was part of my spiritual awakening. It was much later than yours, love. Mine was at 25. But very similar in terms of everything on the outside looked perfect, like was hitting all the check box in terms of societal success, but inside not feeling fulfilled and having this like surfacey happiness.
Yes.
And feeling so empty inside. And so thank you so much for sharing that, because I believe true performance, high performance, we can still be high performers, but what's important is that we're not driven by being valued in our doingness, and rather it's our beingness. And so coming back to you, that's incredible that you were such a gift for your dad as well, to catalyze that, we'll say, reawakening of his gifts. Like incredible.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I love that. And thank you for sharing. It's so interesting how our journeys connect there, and that I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't have done what I did had I not been through what I had. And I'm so grateful because I can connect with people on such a deep level because of the pain I've experienced, and the fear around coming out and opening up your gifts and revealing that, I've been through that, and I was hiding for years. So I can relate so much to my clients when they're fearful about owning them and putting them out there and sharing them with the world.
Absolutely. And may I ask, when you were 16, what was it like? Who was that person who first supported you in your spiritual awakening? Was it a therapist? Was it a healer?
It was
Well,
a
that's
therapist. It was
awesome.
actually a psychologist. The first
Mm,
person was my school psychologist. She was amazing. I think her
beautiful.
name was like Mrs. Trinder or something. I never
Mm,
forget her. And she was so profoundly helpful for me in that time that it helped carry me through. And it was, I don't know if I'd be here without her, just I felt so misunderstood by everybody and felt so
mm,
alone. And she just held this beautiful space for me, and I felt safe to be seen, safe to be myself. And it just was so transformational and so healing that is what ignited my passion. And I wanted to be that for others.
so
Mm.
powerful. And then you said you then met healers that helped you open your spiritual gifts. Was that around this, like shortly after, and you
It
were
was,
through?
yeah. I met a medium who used to teach psychic mediumship abilities. It was actually one of my really spiritual friends who led me to her, and she ended up not continuing. It wasn't for her, but I stayed, and then it was, and I brought
Wow.
my dad along. So we used to attend classes with mediums and learn how to activate our gifts and develop them. So I spent sort of like 10 or so years in different circles with different teachers,
Mm,
and dad was part of that journey. And so it really reconnected us, because we didn't have a good relationship when I was a child and we were very disconnected. But
mm.
this experience brought us closer than ever, and we've had this amazing bond now because of the healing and the spiritual gifts that opened up for us.
I can seriously feel that. Like I'm starting to tear up as
Mm.
you're sharing the relationship with your dad and just the power of how spirit comes in and supports this journey in such a beautiful, profound way. And I'm
Mhm.
really curious, your dad, what did he do for work?
So he was in like IT and really amazing with the computers and systems and all of that. So that's been really useful to me on my journey. And then he sort of transitioned into property developing, but he was a
Mm,
stay-at-home dad for many years. So my mum
mm,
worked; she worked full time, and she was in the medical world and very busy. And yeah, it was mainly dad that was home, and so he took on that kind of mothering role as well. So,
mm.
we wanted new dresses and we wanted jewelry and things. He would take us shopping and buy the things, and, go to all the school activities with us where all the mums were. So it was quite different back then. It wasn't very
Mm.
common that the dad would be
Yeah.
home. So,
Well,
yeah.
and I'm even thinking when I was your age, nobody was talking about the spirit world and
Mhm.
psychics. And like, I don't remember anybody here in my world where I live in Canada having that experience. So I just think it's incredible that that was embraced over there
Mhm. Mhm.
and that you were surrounded with these beautiful healers and teachers and therapists that way.
Mm.
And I'm really curious, with your mom being a psychologist and being so much in the medical field, I'm curious how she received all this spiritual awakening and and like all
Yeah.
this new stuff.
So it's interesting, isn't it? And it went, she received it a lot better than I thought she would. So, I could see with mum, ultimately, all she wanted us was to be successful, to be happy, and to not be struggling financially and all the things. And
Mm,
for her, she thought that the pathway would be to go through university, get a qualification. And I did really well, and I did that, and performed really well academically. So, that kind of, she was very happy with that and content with that.
mm,
It wasn't until I decided to do the transition. I think she was quite unsure about what I was doing, but she has been so accepting. I mean, throughout this whole journey, she even came to those development classes with my dad and I. She was always there in the background, but she knew it wasn't her journey. It wasn't for her. She was open and curious, always had an open
mm,
mind, but didn't sort of take it on and do anything with the work. She was just kind of there for the ride, the journey, and for
mm.
us.
How
So she's
beautiful.
been very open and accepting now. I think she's quite mind blown as to what I've created.
Well,
You know.
I know which we will get into. I'm just like, as you can see, I'm so curious, and I love as our audience is tuning in to really feel into Laura's story, because I know that some of you can really relate with this. And my hope is that you are resonating with Laura's story, inspired and moved by it, and just really like seeing and hearing a different perspective here.
Mhm.
And so you have been a psychologist. I believe you're also in private practice, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So I left my job at a university. I worked there. I did teaching and lecturing for years and counselling in the university setting, which I loved. But
Mhm.
then I transitioned out and started my own practice before shifting into the spiritual coaching
Ah,
world. Yeah, and I absolutely loved that. And love my clients, love my client work. I always knew that all I wanted to do was help people heal and shift and be the
yes.
best versions of themselves, have amazing lives, and I will do that for the rest of my life, and I knew that if I wasn't paid, that would be the work that I was doing. Or if, I already had all of the money in the world, like I would still do what I'm doing. Like I'm so passionate about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know you're on purpose when you feel that way. And
Mhm.
so please let us know. Like I feel like this piece, I know a lot of my community, they really admired that I took the transition as well from being a psychologist, really putting here in Canada. You and I had some private chats about like being a licensed psychologist is very
Mhm.
strict.
Mhm.
And and I would say rightly so, right? And um some like for us it's like quite different. It, being licensed in Canada versus being licensed in the States, and then you and I were talking about being licensed between Canada and Australia, and it just seems like there's always
Mhm.
different ethics, right? And so
Mhm.
I was really curious about jamming on that with you. But for me, like the hardest thing was to um really really take the risk of putting my soul mission out there in a bigger way by creating an online program. As a licensed therapist, I figured it out legally and ethically, and then spirit opened up more doors for me. And then making the transition fully into coaching. So you and I have a lot of that in common, and I'd love for you
Mhm.
to share. You are still licensed, and
Yeah,
you
so technically, but that is the purely so that some of my long-term clients I can finish off seeing. So
yeah.
I'm not really taking new people in psychology, but I'm doing that kind of just for them. But
Mhm.
we'll make the full transition pretty soon.
So exciting, so exciting. And so let's really highlight because you are in transition, and I know my audience is going to be so touched by this that you're still in transition because you're doing it right now. And I have been watching and witnessing your incredible success in the launch of your business and the academy. So please share a little bit more
Mhm.
about, your academy, but also the process, because I know a lot of people are feeling held back and by their
Mhm.
fears of putting themselves out there in a bigger way.
Yeah, so that was huge for me. I had so much fear around putting my gifts out there and, in the psychology world and a lot of professionals, I had amazing supervisors and, throughout my whole degree, we never talked about intuition, energy, psychic,
Mhm.
spirituality, but yet to me, it was all part of everything that we were doing and everything that we were being taught. We just didn't use those words. So I was so fearful of being found out and criticized and judged and discredited and all the things. And so it took me time to really gain enough courage to really just go for it and stop worrying what people thought, and especially the people in the psychology world. So it was really tough, but I had amazing support, and especially from spirit. Like I knew it was the time. I knew I needed to do it, and I remember I actually got made redundant from my full-time job at a university unexpectedly, and it felt like the worst point in my life because I'd built up years to get to that point in my career, and I was very well respected. I had amazing clients. I was earning great money. I had a great team, and I probably wouldn't have left because it just all looks so good on paper. It's like, why would you leave? But in my soul, I knew there was something more for me. I knew that I wasn't being my full authentic self. And there was a crossroads where was helping my clients to embrace and accept all parts of themselves, be their authentic selves, show up, integrate all parts. And I realized that I wasn't doing that, that I was hiding a huge part of me and not bringing it into my work, not acknowledging it. So I felt like a bit of a fraud in that moment. It was like, what am I doing? And so
Mhm.
that was a big part of my journey. I've got to own this. I've got to be that example for others, and I've got to show that it's safe to be spiritual. It's safe to bring this into your work. It's safe to charge for your gifts. The moment I started to put it out there and let people know, my business exploded, my spiritual coaching business. And I was downloaded the idea of creating the Psychic Mediumship Academy. I had no job, no money, no backup plan. And this idea was there, and I knew how to teach it. And so within 3 or 4 months of starting that spiritual coaching business, I launched the Psychic Mediumship Academy. And I remember I had my first 20K month in business, and that was just insane to me at the time. Like, there's no way I'd ever been able to make that much money that quickly, with less hours and work, because I was moving out of trading time for money and working by the hour, as you know, and you're in that world, Ros. And
yes, isn't it so great?
That was for me, having a family too.
Yes.
I realized that time freedom was so important to me. I had a big mission. I wanted to help a lot more people, and I just didn't have the capacity to help as many people as I wanted, hour by hour. So I, opened up this idea and this opportunity to do this online course with people, and there was so much demand, so much interest. There still is, which blows my mind. As you were saying, when I was 16, I felt no one my age was open to this work. It was a lot older people that I would talk to about it. I had no one my age. Now the people are everywhere. Everywhere I look, everywhere I talk to people online, people are open to spirituality, to all of this, more than they've ever been in my experience.
So incredible. And my sense is you also, because you're showing up here, you're attracting the people that are reflections of you, right? And the people who are desiring to be very similar to you, you're giving them you're an image maker as the next level version of themselves. And it's so beautiful to hear just how you courageously took that. And I love how you're like, wait a minute, I teach people this and I'm not fully in myself. I can totally relate with that. It's incredible. And so with your academy, please tell us a little bit more about that. Is this because you got activated as a teen, so who do you serve? I'm really curious.
So a lot of my clients, they're all sort of spiritual healers, coaches, light workers, as I call them. So people from all different backgrounds. I even have, chiropractors, medical people, but they're all people that have a spiritual side that they want to bring into their work.
Yes.
They might be Reiki healers, crystal practitioners, therapists, coaches, nurses. I work with nurses. A lot of people that want to transition out of like mainstream work and bring all of their gifts into their practice and integrate that. I mean, it's massage therapists, it's people that want to help other people heal and really bring in spirit and activate their intuition, their psychic gifts to really give beautiful healing and shifts to their clients. So I attract the most incredible women. It's still mind-blowing to me, Ros. I've worked with so many people over the years from every stage of life, every background, and I got very intentional about who I wanted to work with at this point in this academy. And these women are like my best friends. Like, they become my friends, the people I just want to hang out with all the time. And we've got this community of people that are not afraid to be seen. It's like you can be all that you are. You can talk about anything that's weird and woo-woo, and everybody gets it. Everyone embraces it. So I never had that growing up. So I created that now, and it's just so exciting to be in that.
That is so incredible. And over here in Canada, and I won't say that all of Canada, obviously, I'll speak from just my experience, me being very spiritual. I find here my experience is that, yes, more and more people are becoming spiritual, and because of who I am, and, that's who I attract into my circles. That's who I gravitate towards. However, I don't see that it's fully embraced. Like, I'm so happy when I hear you saying, like, there's chiropractors and there's nurses, there's people in the medical world that are opening up more and more. I have a few clients who are in the medical field. Definitely have clients in the psychologist and social work as well. But I'm really getting a sense that it's more open there. Would you? And I don't know how much you know. You actually lived in Canada, so you let me
Right?
know. What's your
And I
experience?
went there because I thought Canada was more open. I went there for about
Really?
6 months because my auntie, Gavin's, auntie, my husband's auntie, is
Yes.
like me, and I'm so incredibly grateful to have met her. She's a psychologist, she's also very spiritual,
Mm.
and she transitioned out of counseling psychology into spiritual sort of coaching, and I was drawn to Canada because of her, and I thought people were way more open there. So, it's really
Mm.
interesting, but you know, they're much more, maybe they are more open here than I realized, because it feels like everywhere I go, I can have these conversations with people now more than ever. And years ago, I just couldn't, even in my friendship circles, we never talked about this. But now all the people that I attract just are really open and curious and want to hear more about it.
Yes, I do find
Mm.
myself like, I'm surrounded by these people too, but if I'm going out to, let's say, pick up my kids at school and I'm talking to a parent that I'm not really familiar with, I'm like, can I say, like, I mean, I'll say it anyway because it's me, but I'm like waiting for the
Mhm.
reaction to see if
Yeah.
they think I have two heads or something.
Exactly. I've always got that, being a psychologist or psychic, they're like, "Oh my god, you can read my mind, you know everything, this is, like, really uncomfortable.
Right?
You know, like, all of my, darkest secrets already," and,
Yeah.
so yeah, it is interesting people's reactions, but I don't mind anymore because I'm so happy doing what I'm doing. I see the change that I'm
Mm.
creating. I see the impact that I'm having on these women's lives, and
Mhm.
it just makes it so worth it. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than my worry and fear of other people's judgments.
Yes, yes, absolutely. This is such a juicy conversation. I love this. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'd love to pick Laura's brain about how you help people integrate their spirituality into their business.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Om Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
Are you feeling maxed out working one-on-one with clients and you're deeply desiring to scale your business for more time freedom without sacrificing your income, but rather expanding it? Many of my clients who are light workers, healers, practitioners, and even coaches, they're often multi-modality, are coming to me because they are sick and tired of working with clients on a one-off session model where the clients are coming in on an as-need basis. Or if they're selling packages, they are selling them in the sense of buy 5, get 1 free, or the greater the number of sessions, the greater the discount. The problem with this is it's still a dollar for hours business model. And so that leaves the practitioner feeling really exhausted and overwhelmed from having to put so much time, effort, and energy in finding new clients that they're not operating in their most elevated self with their current clients. And so if this is you, I would love to share with you that it's time to elevate your business and scale it to sell high ticket one-on-one programs or even group
programs. This will allow you to have more deeper impacts because you're raising your clients' results, you're scaling your business, and you're having that time freedom you deeply are yearning for. If this is resonating with you, love, I'd love to invite you to come on a soul business alignment call with me so that you can stop feeling like you're on this roller coaster ride and start to feel safe and stable and even having fun in your business and your finances. Please go to electrifymybusiness.com to apply and we'll hop on a call. I can't wait to connect.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
All right, welcome back, loves. So, Laura, I'd love for you to share how you help. Well, first of all, I imagine you have two types of clients. So you have the clients who want to open up and develop their intuition. And then you have the clients who are probably like yourself, quite intuitive already and want to monetize on their gifts. So let's maybe start, and I guess either way, help them really look at how to bring in spirituality into their business.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get you to jam on this with me then.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I mean, one of the things that I love is helping people tap into like psychic or mediumship abilities. And what I've realized through my work is so many people have them, particularly psychic abilities. And this is really how I help people strengthen also their intuition, their knowing, tuning into their senses, their feeling. And spirit are often, working with us, and particularly when people come into the Psychic Mediumship Academy, they really work with us to help people strengthen their abilities and open up the connection. So I help people to learn how to receive the information, make sense of it, how to read other people's energy, to pick up like their hidden blocks, the things that you need to work through, past, present, and future. Like, it's just incredible. And then as we develop psychic abilities, so many of these women open up mediumship abilities too, where they start to connect with loved ones in spirit who want to come through and pass on a message. But I could talk all day about that part of the work. I absolutely love it.
That is incredible. Thank you. And it must be such rewarding, fulfilling work. Now, with that, how do you start I imagine a lot of them are new coaches and healers and therapists. Yeah. Or are some do you have therapists that come see you for business and then they want to incorporate more of their spirituality?
So there's different types of clients. Yeah, I've got really established healers and therapists that are often in face-to-face practices, like working by the hour. And so they also might be somebody that want to integrate spirituality, their gifts into their face-to-face business. So they come in and I help them activate their gifts and bring that into their work. But then I have another group of clients that are, maybe interested in that work as well, but they really want to transition their business online, and they want to work out how they can utilize their spiritual gifts in their business to really attract more clients and to create a bigger impact. So the work that I do not only helps them with their intuition and their downloads for business ideas, for courses, programs, when to launch, all the things. It helps them really grow their business, but it gives them another income stream in their business as well, because a lot of my clients begin to do readings as part of their work. So that's what I get excited about. It's just another arm to their business. And when you can tap into these gifts and offer like readings in some way, or connect to spirit or channel or heal, bring in that beautiful healing, it's so appealing to people. Like, I found that people are wanting more spiritually open practitioners more than ever. So I always get asked by people, like, who do you know who integrates these things like you? You know, they're always asking and wanting people that way. So there's a lot of, you know, potential clients out there, and obviously you can access them all over the world now with the internet, which is amazing.
It is really amazing. In fact, like, yeah, speaking of practitioners, I really love going to see massage therapists. I've found her. She was my girlfriend, and I was like, went in to do some healing work with her. I'm like, oh, you do body work too? Amazing. And crystal healing? Amazing. And she's psychic. So I'm like, amazing. So
Yeah,
love
quite a few.
it's a powerful combination, just having a massage and then receiving the downloads and then the shares. Like, I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
so good. So
It's beautiful. I've had quite a few massage therapists. There's so many healing modalities that come into that, you know, and the people want to talk about their problems. You've got that counseling, that coaching aspect, but yeah, you receive messages and guidance. I have quite a few kinesiologists as well. So anyone that is, you know, works on the body and healing in that way, but also the mind, this integrates really well with that.
Absolutely. I love that you found this niche, seriously, because it's like, as you're teaching people to tune in more to their intuition, the ripple effects that get created as they work with their clients, because they're attracting people who start to become more open or are opened already. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like more and more people are waking up. So yay.
Yeah, it's so exciting. It's amazing. I love it.
It's incredible. And so for you, tell us more about, because I know my audience, of course, the show is all about magnetizing your soulmate clients and monetizing on your calling. So let's jump on that, because that's like our favorite topic for sure. How do you support your clients in activating that magnetism for themselves?
Yeah, and that's a great question. I love it. And I think it's really owning their gifts and being really loving and accepting of themselves, and not being afraid to own their gifts and put it out there in the world. Like, I'm really, really good at helping build people's confidence, belief in themselves, and, you know, to really be safe to be seen. Like, that's the biggest one. And a lot of my work as a therapist comes into that, healing childhood wounds, healing things that have held them back, you know, because everything comes out in business, whatever you have worked through.
1000%.
Right, or even you've done some healing, as soon as you go to become more visible or go to the next level, like, all of your stuff comes up, and you know, your ego wants to stop you from doing it and putting yourself out there. And so I really help people work through that fear and anxiety and really connect to their intuition and listen to that and have the courage to really go for it in their business, and really go for it on social media, start speaking with more confidence, getting clear on their offers, what they want to put out into their world, and, you know, how they can structure that and price that, and, you know, get into alignment with it all, you know. So it's probably similar to some of the work you do as well, Ros.
I'm like, yes, we were like twins that way. You know, and you and I
It's
have that
amazing.
advantage of having a therapist background and understanding the importance of somatic healing and the subconscious work, and then having the gifts to be able to hold space and process that with our clients. We're not typical business coaches, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Adds
it's
another
just like,
layer.
yeah, it's shifting things on a cellular level. I'd love for you to share one of your, I'm sure all your clients are your favorite, but, you know, a story that you feel called to share about your clients, maybe a struggle that where they are hiding, they're really scared to shine and share their gifts with the world for fear of judgment, rejection, and then what supported them to like really fully show up.
Yeah, I love this. Gosh, there's so many running through my mind.
Good,
I've worked
of
with so many
course.
people, and, you know, it's just incredible to see them really go for it. So I've had a client that worked with me who was a previous lawyer, who left that industry, and, you know, because they work very long hours, really hard. My brother's a lawyer, so I'm really familiar with that what's required and the expectation in that world. And she activated a psychic and mediumship ability. She's like an incredible medium now, which is just amazing and mind-blowing to me. So she also trained in yoga. So she started to integrate her psychic and mediumship work with yoga, with energy healing. So she sees private clients, but she started her first ever group program and started really showing up online and marketing and selling that. Did incredibly well with that and attracts the most beautiful clients. And yeah, so it was her just feeling safe to own her gifts, releasing fear, worry, and anxiety about showing up, and helping her to work with spirit to attract her soul clients. So that's a lot of the work that I do, is helping people to get really clear on who it is they want to work with and work with spirit to call them in. And you can really magnetize them through your energy, through your intention, your connection with spirit, how you show up. I'm very big into manifestation as well, so I bring that into all of my work. So I love all that. We also dive deep into her money relationship. That's the other thing that I love working around.
Me
Is
too.
there are limits that we have around making money, attracting clients, and what that is going to look like, and that feeling you need to work really hard for your money. So she came from that background as a lawyer, working really, really hard, as I did, but releasing that and allowing it to be easy, and that you can still, we put effort into our businesses and into our programs to grow it, but you can attract people with a lot of ease and flow, and money with ease and flow too, particularly when you're in full alignment. Like, you love your offer, you love what you're doing, you're confident in, how you can help people. Then it's just amazing. So she's done incredibly well. She sold out her first group program. So that was amazing. And I had another client, OBM, helps virtual assistants.
Sorry, I heard you have a little bit of a lag. I wanted to just really acknowledge how I imagine how difficult that is, moving from being a lawyer where your whole mindset, all your beliefs, your identity is in being a lawyer and thinking like a lawyer and showing up as a lawyer. And then to shift completely, like 180, to unravel some of the unlearn, I guess would be the word, ways of being in that identity of a lawyer to who she is now, to truly peeling back those layers and really connecting more with her soul and showing up in her soul's purpose. Like, I mean, I know for myself, that was the biggest journey. It was incredibly hard to, you mentioned it earlier too, like feeling, oh my gosh, like, am I going to discredit myself moving into the spiritual world? Am I going to, because from a society perspective, right, hierarchies and things like that, and then me being Asian, so like the extra cultural expectations of titles, I imagine that for your client, there was a lot of unraveling about that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you spend years studying and dedicating so many years to your career, you can feel like, well, have I wasted all of that time?
Right?
Am I wasting all of that? But when you realize that all of those experiences has led you to becoming the person you are now, and all of that experience helps you in your client work. So for her, she's going into another transformation, another shift now, where she's really helping people understand their rights and the legal side of their work and their business as well. So that comes into it, and it's so beneficial. So whatever you've learned before and the journey you've been on, it's going to come up in your client work. You're going to be able to utilize it in ways you probably never imagined would happen.
1000%. I call that the alchemy of you, because all of that is never a waste. And it is beautiful how it will come up and exactly where it needs to with the clients that we work with. And not every client maybe, but like there will be specific clients that will need that wisdom that she holds. So that's incredible. Congratulations. And then you were also going to share another client, I believe.
Yeah, so I work with different clients, and this is one of my favorite clients. She's so lovely, but she really helps people become virtual assistants and support other spiritual entrepreneurs in their businesses. So it's amazing. So she's like the tech whiz. So she's amazing when it comes to tech. And she's become quite known online and did quite well in her business, but she has all of these spiritual gifts, that they were sitting there and it's in her family, but she never really did anything with it or connected with it. So she started working with me privately and in my Psychic Mediumship Academy, and it's mind-blowing what's happening for her. The gifts are opening up, her intuition, she's connecting with spirit, she's passing on messages for friends and family, and it's coming into her client work now. She's starting to bring all of that into her helping VAs go online and helping with the energetics and working with their intuition and all of that. So she is doing incredibly well. So she's had some of her biggest months in business now. So that's what's amazing to her. It's like when you step into your power and you own all of your gifts, like you just start to thrive in business, you know, and that's what's happened to her. You know, she's attracted more wealth, more abundance, but she's living on purpose. Like she's doing what she absolutely loves. So yeah, I loved working with her as well. So yeah, there's some great clients that I've had the opportunity.
So incredible. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. So I would love to ask you directly, because I'm sure as people are tuning in, they're like, oh my God, like, how do I get connected with Laura? How do I get into this academy? Can you share a little bit about how people can get connected with you? A little bit more details about your academy, and of course people can connect more with you and learn about that. But just what's the share that you feel called to have here?
Yeah, so you can absolutely find me on Facebook, Laura Chappell. I've got a free group that's a great place to connect with me. It's Visionary Souls, Thriving Coaches, Healers, and Spiritual Entrepreneurs. So definitely that's a great community that I have where I'm always active in there, and there's lots of free resources and trainings. And
That's
yeah,
amazing.
so yeah, and I love that community. It's been incredible. And so the Psychic Mediumship Academy, it's an online group program. So I work with people all over the world, which is incredible. That's why I love it. That's why I love online business, is I've got, you know, clients from Canada, the UK, I've had Egypt, all over, who can come and be part of this experience. And so it's bringing all those women together that I love. And there's live calls via Zoom, so you get to know everybody in the course, which I love. And so I do teaching and training online. There's courses and there's modules to work through, but you get live coaching with me to help you activate and discover your gifts, develop as a psychic, develop your intuition, but also develop as a medium as well. So we do that all online, which I really, really love. It's one of my favorite programs, and it's probably one of the most successful programs that I have. It's the first one I started, and I think I'll always run it. You know, I'm so passionate. It keeps evolving and growing, and literally every single person who comes into this container shifts. Everyone activates gifts. Many women come in drawn to it but not sure if they have gifts, and every single person activates gifts and is mind blown by the experience. And you can see we're fully supported by spirit. So people often have a bit of fear coming in of connecting to their gifts or connecting with spirit. So we do a lot of work to work through that, to release any fear, to protect your energy. So it's nothing but love and light that we're working with, and everybody shifts that fear within a few weeks of working with me. So it's amazing. It's really just, I look forward to it every week that, you know, I connect with everybody. Just love it.
I imagine that's so yummy. It sounds so yummy. And I imagine that every container of your academy, just the alchemy of the women coming in, there's a reason they're there together, right? That they are here to be mirrors for each other, learn, catalyze. So, oh, so good. And of course, as audiences, you're listening, my loves, please do check out the show notes and you can get connected with Laura's links as well. So in the last few minutes here, through a meditation, because you also do that, and whatever you feel is on your heart to really support our listeners here today, and just cue me, just be like, okay, Roz, come on in when it's time for light language, and I'll just activate all of this.
I love it. All right, so I'm going to get you to connect in. So just sitting comfortably, becoming aware of your breath, becoming aware of your body in the chair. So I'm call on our angels from the highest heights that come through with the most love and light for us, to really send lots of love, healing and protection to us and to those that have gifts that might be fearing exploring them. Help us to feel really safe to own and accept these gifts and to activate them. And I'm calling in our spiritual team, our guides, angels, loved ones that are around supporting us every step of the way to help us on our path, to help us feel safe to be seen, help us to feel safe to show our gifts and share them with the world, and to create beautiful impact on this planet while they're here, so we can be the highest versions of ourselves and bring so much more love and light into the world. So just tapping into this beautiful white light, just feel the white light beaming down from your crown chakra into your body, just filling up every cell of your entire being as we connect between our world and the spirit world and open up that connection and that receiving of guidance, of support to help us on our journey. Just imagine that filling up, expanding out into your auric field, so you're surrounded in this beautiful white light, and see it connecting each and every one of us on this live stream so that everybody receives exactly what it is that they came here for. And this really activates and sparks them to really explore and discover their gifts and be who they came here to be. I'm sending you all so much love. I'm going to call Ros in just to finish this beautiful meditation.
Beautiful. So as you're tuning into the sensations of your body and just feeling into what feels most aligned for you, just breathing into this and expanding it even more, and just feeling into the tones that are going to be dropping in. Rakia sera kuratini rakia su rakia sera kuratini rakia sara ku alia kuratini rakia sur kuratini raku. Breathing in. Keep expanding your breath. Suspending it. Conjuring in your power. And then as you breathe out so you're grounding your breath as if you're a tree. And your breath is like roots, rooting your power in. Feeling into the energetics of this breath, this rooting down, this grounding in. You might notice tingling, solidness in your core, lightness, perhaps fluttering in your eyes, tears. All is welcome here. Your soul is deepening, it's remembering. Breathing in again. And then breathing out through your solar plex so that you form this beautiful auric bubble around you of your soul's essence, your power. And just notice there's no right or wrong what color your bubble is. Maybe it's translucent with some gold sparkles. Maybe it's prism colors, colors of the rainbow. Maybe it's a solid color. And just feel once again how it feels to be in your auric field. Feel the magnetism of it. Breathing in, feeling every sensation of your body. And then slowly releasing. Sirakura tia, sirakura ti, morakura kia, morakura tia. Conjuring in more of your power.
connecting with divine, this beautiful light within and around. Father Sky, Mother Earth. And so in these last few moments, just staying with what feels most good to you, whatever good means in your body, breathing it in with every fiber of your being. And just know that you are here to live a soul-filled life, to live on purpose and in purpose. It's a sacred responsibility. Show up for yourself. Show up in your gifts. Activate them in whatever way is most aligned for you. Share them. The world needs more of you and your light. One more breath in and out. Beautiful. When you're ready, just very slowly and gently start to bring your awareness back here. And thank you so much, my loves. Thank you so much, Laura. I so loved our conversation. My loves, please do go follow Laura. Please join her group. She is incredible. She's a beautiful soul, as you can feel. And I can't wait. Please shout this out on Bold Sexy Warrior on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thanks so much for having me. I loved it. I'll speak to you soon.
Absolutely, my love.